Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is True UnderDawgz, and I'm here today with a complete breakdown for base Goku. Now I have seen other channels do guides like this, but nearly all of them are missing some very important things that make base Goku amazing, so I wanted to do my best to make this guide as thorough as possible, while also not wasting your time if I can help it. Now if you're mainly here for combos, then please check out my base Goku combo guide that I've posted already. Right about now the link should be appearing in the top right corner of the screen. The combos in that video range from easy to advanced and get you some pretty crazy damage too. Although this video will cover certain combos, mainly his corner loops. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start off with the basics. First off, I want to talk about his auto combo, because this might be one of the best auto combos in the game. And that's a pretty bold statement, I know, but this auto combo has a lot going for it. First off, it hits on both sides. So even if the opponent was to try and vanish in the middle of your string, it might actually catch them on the opposite side. Or if they jump over you, and you don't auto-correct for whatever reason, it could still catch them. So that's one great thing about it. But one more great thing about it is, unlike most auto combos, if you want to extend after a vanish, you don't have to actually whiff the first hit as long as you delay it long enough. A lot of characters, if they want this extension, have to whiff the first hit of their auto combo after a vanish, then the second and third will hit to extend their combo. That's not the case for base Goku. You can actually let all three hit. You just want to make sure the first hit lands a bit late. So the opponent should be pretty close to the ground, and then you want to start pressing light attack. And that's not it, this auto combo just gets better and better. If you time it correctly, you can actually juggle the opponent over your shoulders and hit them on the opposite side, which sends them flying in the opposite direction. In my actual combo video, I did it a lot by accident. I probably can't get it intentionally here. But sometimes the opponent would flip over my shoulders, and there we go, I did it. So now he's on the opposite side. So if for whatever reason I wanted him in this corner, I can actually time it so he flips over my shoulder. And that's not guaranteed to happen, there are actually ways to time it so they always stay in the front. But I can't wait to see high level players utilize this, because you can keep the opponent in the front, or send them over your shoulder behind you, and that's just an awesome option. Once again, just one more thing that makes this auto combo fantastic, but we're still not done. There is one final thing that makes this auto combo godlike, and that's the crazy corner loops that this auto combo can do. Now it does vary from character to character. Basically, the smaller the character is, the less combo loops you can do. So if a character is very small, like Krillin or Teen Gohan, you can only do about 2 loops. And if the character is bigger, like say around Goku and Vegeta's size, you can manage 3 loops typically. And then if a character is very big, like Android 16 or Broly, you can actually get 4 loops for some pretty crazy damage. Now with all that said, there are some very odd exceptions in this game, so for instance characters like Cell have different loop properties, and Bardock I've actually heard can be looped 4 times even though he's Goku's size and not a big body character. So make sure to spend time in practice mode and see what combos work best on each character. Alright, I think we've covered pretty much everything that makes his auto combo great, so let's go ahead and move on to his special moves now. First off, we have quarter circle forward and an attack. Now, at first this attack doesn't seem super useful. It's not very good for combo extension in the air, it doesn't cause a slide knockdown unlike Super Saiyan Goku. However, it does have its utility, they're just not quite as straightforward as you might think. So first up we have the light version. Now the light version is actually best for block strings, because it's very good for extending your block string with vanish. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and have Vegeta block real quick. And if none of my normals connect, I'm going to go ahead and do the light version of his tackle. And now I can vanish to extend my combo, and now I can sneak in a little mix-up. And there we go, a little bit of damage that I snuck in there with the command grab, and the vanish allowed me to extend my block string for a bit longer after his light tackle. So that's the main utility I found for the light version. Now it can also add some extra damage to your air combos, but you don't get the opponent near the ground, so I don't recommend doing that most of the time unless you're like me and you want to bait out a Super Dash. Sometimes leaving the opponent high in the air can make them want to Super Dash down towards you, and of course that's a free down heavy punish. Just to give you an idea of what I mean, you could try and do something like this, and then bait a Super Dash from the opponent and down heavy it, but most of the time you want to end the combo with your standard light, 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 that way they're on the floor and you can pressure with assists, or extend with assists, whatever you want to do. Typically you want to do the auto combo and not his special move for an ender. So next up we have the medium version. And what's nice about the medium version is that tiny fake out at the start. Now it does cause a wall bounce as well, so it can be great for starting off combos in the corner, but that's not the main reason you want to use this move. Once again, just like the light version, it's best used during a block string to bait out the opponent's attack. So if the opponent thinks you're going to try to do a command grab, the opponent might try to interrupt you by attacking, and the medium version is perfect for baiting out that attack and punishing with a full combo. Especially if you want to spend some extra meter on a vanish combo, or just combo directly into his level 1 super. And next up we have the heavy version, which I don't recommend using most of the time. It does have slightly better range and slightly more damage than the medium version, and it does still cause a wall bounce, but I don't recommend spending your meter on that. There are much better things to spend your meter on, so I'd say for the most part you almost never want to use the heavy version of this move. So next up, let's talk about his command grab. Now thankfully the command grab is pretty straightforward. The light version has the least range, but it's the fastest. And if you want to extend the combo for full damage, you can use a vanish, and then use your auto combo like before. Or, if you prefer, you can combo directly into his super. And the medium version is more or less the same. It does the same damage in fact, but it has a bit better range at the cost of slower startup. So it's a bit slower, but he jumps forward quite a far distance, very similar to Android 16. He covers a lot of ground. So it can be a great mix-up even in the neutral if the opponent's a bit scared. Or it could also be good after a block string if you do a key blast. Let me go ahead and show that off. That could also be a great bait. You're pretty far away and you can still grab him, right? The opponent might think, okay, he did a key blast, here comes a kamehameha, but no, you cancel into his command grab instead. That could be a fantastic mix-up. I just thought of that too, but man, this guy's a mixed-up monster once you get the opponent in the blender. And then of course we have the heavy version, which actually extends the combo on its own. It also does more damage than the medium version plus a vanish. So the light version and medium version plus vanish do less damage than the straight up heavy version. Not by a lot, but the heavy version still does do the most damage. So if you want to just spend one bar, the heavy version is your most damaging option. And the opponent is left very close, so it's very easy to extend with an auto combo, or once again combo directly into his super. So next up we have his kamehameha. Now unlike the other characters, it's only a single hit. So similar to Tien's beam attack actually, not like Super Saiyan 1 Goku's. So Super Saiyan Goku, it's 5 hits, and does a little bit more damage too. So base Goku's Kamehameha does less damage, but it's also 1 hit, so it won't scale your combo damage as much, so it's a pretty even give and take. It might not do as much damage initially, but all the damage that comes after will actually be higher since it's less hits. So I think it's a pretty fair trade-off. For now, let's move on to his mini Spirit Bomb. Now this attack actually has 2 parts. It's quarter circle back and the key button, but initially it's not actually an attack at all, it's a charge. And you can either tap it or hold it down, and it has 3 different levels. So at level 1, just press it, and then do the input again, and it's a mini Spirit Bomb that does okay damage. It's not bad. It also puts the opponent in a semi-juggle state, so you can actually Super Dash. Now if you do manage to get 2 charges, it's more or less the same, only it does more damage than before. But then we have the level 3 version, which is where the magic happens. So if you manage to lock the opponent down and charge all 3 levels, and then manage to connect the Spirit Bomb afterwards, it will combo directly into his level 3 Spirit Bomb for a very beefy amount of damage. This level 3 is no joke, look at the damage here. 7,300, Vegeta is almost dead. Now of course that wasn't a practical combo, I just threw it out, so unless I'm whiff punishing, I'm not going to ever land this raw. More often than not, you're going to actually want to combo into it, and as a result the level 3 is going to do a little bit less damage. But real quick, I do want to discuss the best way to combo into his mini Spirit Bomb, especially the level 3 version, that way you can combo into his big Spirit Bomb. So let me go ahead and get my charge here real quick. And there are 2 ways to combo into this. The first is after a vanish, and then just pop it as soon as Goku hits the floor. The second you're on the ground, go ahead and pop it, and then do that level 3. That's the easiest way to do it, but it's also the less damaging way to do it, only 5,200. Now if I wanted more damage, I can actually do his auto combo instead, because the wall bounce has more than enough time for me to throw out the mini Spirit Bomb. I find that's the most practical way to combo into your big level 3 Spirit Bomb. However, this level 3 has one very big problem. It has very, very long startup. So not only can Goku not combo into it without his mini Spirit Bomb, but it's actually very tough for most characters to even super cancel into it. Now even though it's very tough to tag combo into Goku's level 3, it's not impossible. There are a few characters who can actually do it. In fact, Super Saiyan Goku can do it, he just can't do his standard level 1. He has to do his Warp Kamehameha. So once again, make sure to experiment in training mode and see which characters can do it. Typically you want a character whose super is either very long or sends the opponent very high into the air. Alright everyone, that covers every one of his special moves, so let's go ahead and move on to his supers next. and we've already covered his level 3 Spirit Bomb in pretty good detail, but one more thing I do want to add is how much crazy chip damage it does. So if you do manage to make the opponent block this big boy, then it does a crazy amount of chip damage. About 1/6 or 1/7 of their health is taken from blocking. And that's pretty nuts because normally only characters like Krillin can do that with his Destructo Disc. So now we have one more character who can do that. Now the opponent can interrupt you in some cases, possibly with a Vanish while you're charging it up maybe in the air, although I have heard the hitbox on this thing is so enormous that they'll actually go behind you and still get hit by it. So if the opponent does want to punish you with a Vanish, they have to wait a long time before doing so. Alright, and that's pretty much it for his level 3 super, so let's go ahead and move on to his Kaioken. Easily the most complex level 1 in the game, at least in my opinion. So by default, it has 2 follow-ups. By default, he does that lunging attack, which is actually his light attack. However, you can change that. And that's because every button on the controller, every face button, so your light, medium, heavy, and key button, all do something different. So by default, it's the light attack. But if I want to change the start of it, I actually can. I can press the key button. And now it's a projectile instead, which hits full screen and it's very fast. So if the opponent's trying to escape or you're trying to whiff punish from full screen, that's the best way to start it off. Now if I press the medium version, it's a cross-up. However, it does do the same damage as the light version, so let me go ahead and show that. So it's 700, and the light version is also 700, it just hits in the front. And then last but not least, we have the heavy button, which is actually an unblockable command grab. And that can be a fantastic mix-up. In fact, this entire super is a mix-up monster against your opponent. So if I have Vegeta guard here, I can actually do 3 different mix-ups. I can go from the front, then I can cross him up, and then I can go for a command grab if I want to, so check that out. Front, cross up, command grab, and then I can finally end it by pressing the super button again, so that's light and medium together, and that always ends your Kaioken super. And keep in mind, this is just level 1 of the Kaioken super. It actually has 3 different levels depending on how many players are left on your team. So right now, both my teammates are still alive, so I only have the level 1 version, which only allows 3 hits or 2 follow-ups, and then of course you have the super at the end, which is done by pressing light and medium, so I guess technically it's 4 hits. And once again, you can change the first hit to be whatever you want, like the command grab for example. But now let's go ahead and talk about level 2 and level 3 Kaioken. Now the first big change is I get 5 hits instead of just 3. So I can actually get 5 extensions, and then once again I can end with the super button, light and medium, and I get a bit more damage. But that's not the only change. If I want to press light plus medium again before that actual ending animation, I'll actually cancel it into his kamehameha, which does more damage, but it does cost you 1 extra bar of meter. So instead of a level 1 super, it's now a level 2 super. And once again, please note that level 2 only becomes available if one of your teammates is dead on your team. So now let's go ahead and talk about level 3, or Kaioken times 20. Now instead of having 5 extensions, we have 7, so it adds 2 more each time. And if I want, I can press light plus medium to end it, and then if I want to spend an extra bar just like before, I can get the kamehameha instead of just the normal ender. So technically it's a level 2 super, but even so, that's some pretty crazy damage, and that's not even the optimal combo. You want to try and squeeze in as many key attacks and heavy attacks as you can, although in my experience the super won't let you combo into more than 1 heavy, so after that you want to squeeze in as many key attacks as possible. And once again, make sure to always try and keep your opponent in the corner, because you don't want to give up that corner advantage. Alright everyone, that concludes my guide for base Goku. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and post a comment too. Tell me what you think. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay UnderDawgz.